There are some relationships that do not end because there is no love. They end because one person has been loving alone. And sometimes the most dangerous person in your life is not the person who hates you. It is the person who knows that you love them and uses that love against you. This is the story of a young Nigerian woman named Amara, a girl who entered the university with big dreams, a pure heart, and absolutely no idea that the man she would love for almost 5 years would teach her one of the hardest lessons of her life, a lesson she would never forget. But before we get to that part, let me take you back to where it all started. Amara was 19 when she entered university. She was the first child of her parents and the kind of daughter every parent prayed for. She was intelligent, calm, respectful, and very beautiful. Not the kind of beauty that made her desperate for attention. Amara hardly noticed when people stared at her. She was more interested in her books. Her parents were not rich, but they were comfortable. Her father was a civil servant who had worked for many years to provide for his family. Her mother ran a small catering business from home. They lived in a decent area in Lagos, and Amara had never experienced extreme poverty. But she had also never lived a luxurious life. Her parents taught her one thing from childhood: whatever you cannot afford, don't beg anybody for it. And Amara listened. When she gained admission into a reputable private university in Lagos to study business administration, her parents were extremely happy. Her mother cried on the day they went to pay her school fees. My daughter is going to the university? Wow, she said proudly. Amara smiled. I will make you proud, mommy. And she meant it. University life started normally. She attended lectures, made notes, joined study groups, went to the library, and slowly began making friends. But there was one person who noticed Amara from the beginning. His name was Daniel. Daniel was also a business administration student. He was handsome, confident, funny, popular, and he knew it. Almost everybody in their department knew Daniel. Daniel was the kind of guy who could walk into a room and immediately become the center of attention. He was also very good at talking. Very good. During one of their first group assignments, Daniel sat beside Amara. You're Amara, right? She looked at him. Yes, I'm Daniel. I know. He smiled. You know me? Everyone knows you. Daniel laughed. That's not a bad thing. Amara smiled politely. No, it's not. That was how it started. Nothing serious, just conversations, then more conversations, then text messages, then phone calls. Then Daniel started looking for reasons to see her. If Amara went to the library, somehow Daniel would appear there. If she went to the cafeteria, he would call. Where are you? At the cafeteria. I'm coming. You don't have to. I'm already coming. And he would come. At first, Amara thought he was simply friendly until one afternoon, Daniel finally said it. I like you. Amara became quiet. I know you may not feel the same way yet, he continued, but I really like you. She smiled awkwardly. Daniel, we are classmates. So, we should just be friends. Why? Because I don't want any relationship right now. Daniel laughed softly. I can wait. And he did. For weeks, then months. He kept asking. Amara kept refusing. But Daniel was patient. He brought her food sometimes. He helped her with assignments. He called to check on her. When she was sick, he came to visit her. Slowly, Amara began to believe that perhaps Daniel was different. Maybe he was serious. Maybe he genuinely cared about her. Eventually, she agreed to date him, and that was when everything changed. At the beginning, Daniel was wonderful. He called every morning. Good morning, my love. He wanted to know what she had eaten. He wanted to know where she was. He wanted to walk her to class. He wanted to know everything about her. Amara was happy. She thought she had finally found someone who truly understood her. But after a few months, small things began to change. It started with jokes. One afternoon, Amara was sitting with three of their classmates. They were discussing an upcoming test. Amara answered the question correctly. Daniel laughed. Of course, she knows it. She has nothing else to do with her life. Everyone laughed. Amara smiled, but she felt uncomfortable. Another day, she wore a beautiful dress to school. When Daniel saw her, he looked at her from head to toe. Why are you dressed like this? She frowned. Like what? You're trying too hard. She looked down at herself. I like the dress. Whatever. Then he walked away. Amara stood there confused. She didn't understand what she had done wrong. Later that evening, Daniel called her. Why are you upset? I'm not upset. You sound upset. I'm just tired. Okay. There was silence. Then he said, you're always making things difficult. Amara sighed. Daniel, I didn't do anything. Forget it. He ended the call. That night, Amara cried. Not because of the argument, but because she couldn't understand how someone who loved her could make her feel so small. The next morning, Daniel was suddenly sweet again. He brought her breakfast. I'm sorry, Amara smiled. It's okay. He hugged her. And just like that, everything seemed normal again. That became their pattern. Good today, bad tomorrow. Apology the next day, then another problem. Amara began learning how to survive Daniel's mood. If he was happy, she was happy. If he was angry, she became quiet. If he wanted space, she gave him space. If he wanted to talk, she listened. She was always adjusting. But Daniel never seemed to adjust for her. Daniel owned a small barbing salon not far from the university. It was not a big salon, but because Daniel was popular, he had many customers. He was proud of it. Sometimes he would tell Amara, I don't want to be a barber forever. I'll expand. Amara always encouraged him. You will. I want to have three branches. You can do it. I'll be successful. I know. She believed in him. But whenever business was slow, Daniel changed. His mood would become terrible. One evening, Amara called him. Hi, what's up? I just wanted to check on you. I'm not in the mood. She became quiet. Is everything okay? I said I'm not in the mood. Okay. And please don't call me for some days. Amara was shocked. What? I need space. But why? I'm not doing well financially. Daniel, I didn't ask you for anything. I know. Then why are you angry with me? I'm not angry. You sound angry. Amara, please. I said I need space. She became quiet. Okay. He ended the call. For the next 3 days, Amara didn't call. She didn't disturb him. She simply gave him the space he requested. On the fourth day, Daniel called. Why haven't you called me? Amara was confused. You told me not to call. So you actually stopped calling. Yes. You didn't even check on me. You said you wanted space. Daniel laughed. You're something else. Amara didn't understand. Daniel, I'm confused. Forget it. And again, the call ended. That night, Amara stared at her phone. She began asking herself questions. Was she doing something wrong? Was she too demanding? Was she not loving him enough? She didn't realize that this was exactly what Daniel wanted her to do, to question herself. Amara was not the type of girlfriend who demanded expensive things. She didn't ask Daniel for money. She didn't ask him for clothes. She didn't ask him to pay her bills. She didn't even complain when he didn't buy her gift. Her parents took care of her. If she needed something, she asked her parents. Daniel knew this, yet he often complained about money. One afternoon, their classmates were discussing Valentine's Day. One girl laughed. My boyfriend bought me a new phone. Another said, mine booked a hotel for us. Someone turned to Amara. What is Daniel getting you? Amara laughed. I don't know. Daniel heard her. He looked at her. Why are you telling people about me? I didn't say anything bad. You should learn to keep our relationship private. Amara became quiet. That evening, he sent her a message. Don't expect anything from me on Valentine's Day. She replied, I don't expect anything. He responded, Good. Amara stared at her screen. She didn't understand why everything had to be difficult, but she stayed because she loved him. And sometimes love can make a person tolerate things they would never advise their friends to tolerate. 4 years passed. University passed. 100 level became 200 level. 200 became 300, then 400. Amara and Daniel were still together. From the outside, they looked like a perfect couple. They attended events together, took pictures, went out sometimes. Their classmates knew them as a couple. Some people even admired them, but nobody knew what happened behind closed doors. Nobody knew how many times Amara cried. Nobody knew how many nights she stared at her phone waiting for Daniel to call. Nobody knew how many times she had told herself, maybe he will change. She kept believing because Daniel could be incredibly sweet when he wanted to be. And those good moments were enough to make Amara forget the bad ones, at least for a while. Then graduation came. Amara finished university. Daniel finished too. Everyone was excited. They took pictures. Their friends celebrated. Their families were proud. Amara believed they had finally reached the stage where things would become better, she thought. Now that school is over, maybe Daniel will become more serious. But she was wrong. January, after graduation, Amara got a teaching job. She became a teacher in a small school. She loved teaching. She was patient with children. She enjoyed helping them to learn. Her life was becoming peaceful. Then, a few months later, she got a better job in a large primary school close to her home. The school was popular in the area. The salary was better. The environment was professional. Amara was happy. Her mother was proud. My daughter is now a proper teacher. Amara laughed. Mommy, please. But there was one thing that remained unchanged. Daniel. Their relationship was unstable. And then Valentine's Day came. Amara woke up that morning expecting nothing. She wasn't waiting for flowers. She wasn't waiting for gifts. She just wanted Daniel to call. At about 2 p.m., her phone rang. Daniel, she smiled. Hello, Amara. Yes, Daniel. Amara, I need to tell you something. His voice was cold. What happened? I think we should take a break. Amara stopped smiling. A break? Yes. Why? I just need space. Daniel, what happened? Nothing. Then why are you saying this? I don't have a reason. She laughed nervously. How can you not have a reason? I I just don't feel okay. Is there someone else? No. Did I do something? No. Then why? Amara, please don't make this difficult. Her heart sank. So you are breaking up with me? I said I need space. She couldn't speak. Daniel confused. I'll call you when I'm ready. Then he ended the call. Amara stared at her phone. For several seconds, she didn't move. Then the tears came. She cried throughout the afternoon. She cried in her room. She cried while eating. She cried while speaking to her mother. But she didn't tell her mother everything. She simply said, We had an argument. That evening, she called her new friend from work, Kemi, who taught another class in the same school. Kemi, her voice broke. What happened? Daniel broke up with me. Kemi became quiet. What? He said he needs space. After all these years, Amara cried. I don't know what I did. Kemi sighed. Amara, sometimes the problem isn't what you did. What do you mean? You've been trying to make this relationship work for years. I love him. I know. But I don't understand why he treats me like this. Kemi paused. Then she said, Maybe one day you will. Amara didn't understand what she meant, but she would eventually. 5 months passed. Amara slowly started healing. She stopped checking Daniel's social media. She stopped waiting for his calls. She focused on her work. Her pupils loved her. Her colleagues liked her. She was beginning to feel herself again. Then one evening, her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. Hello. Silence. Hello. When she heard his voice, Amara, her heart stopped. Daniel, how did you get this number? You blocked my old number. What do you want? I want to see you. No. Please. No, Daniel. I've been thinking about us. She closed her eyes. There's nothing to think about. I made a mistake. You said you needed space. I was confused. And now I want you back. Amara was silent. Daniel confused. Daniel confused. I still love you. Those words entered part of her heart she had tried so hard to close. She wanted to say no. She really wanted to, but she loved him. And Daniel knew it. I've changed, he said. Are you sure? Yes, you are serious. I swear. Amara took a deep breath. 5 months had passed. Maybe people could really change. Maybe this was their second chance. Maybe their story wasn't over. So she agreed. They got back together, and for the first few weeks, everything was perfect. Daniel was caring, he called, he apologized, he told her, I don't want to lose you again. Amara believed him, but she didn't know that the same man was about to become worse than before. Much worse. Several months after they reconciled, Amara began thinking about marriage. They had been together for years. She wasn't demanding a wedding. She wasn't asking him to marry her immediately. She simply wanted to know where they were going. One evening, they sat in Daniel's car. Amara looked at him. Daniel, hmm? Where do you see this relationship going? He became quiet. What do you mean? I mean us. We are together. I know. So what's the problem? Daniel, we've been together for more than 4 years. And don't you think we should be talking about the future? He laughed. Marriage? Eventually. I'm not ready. Amara's heart dropped. After 4 years? I said I'm not ready. When will you be ready? I don't know. 5 years? I don't know. 10 years? Amara, why are you putting pressure on me? I'm not putting pressure on you. You are. She became quiet. Then she asked, do you actually see yourself marrying me? Daniel stared through the windscreen. He didn't answer. Amara waited. 1 minute, 2 minutes, then she finally understood. The silence was an answer. She looked at him. Okay. Daniel shrugged. Okay, what? I think we should end this. He looked at her. For the first time, he seemed surprised. You want to break up? Yes. Okay. Amara stared at him. That's all? What do you want me to say? She felt something inside her break. You don't care? Daniel shrugged. I've already told you I'm not ready. She nodded slowly. Then we are done. Okay. That was it. No begging, no apology, no attempts to fix anything. Daniel simply accepted the breakup. Amara went home that night and cried. But this time, something was different. She wasn't crying because she wanted him back. She was crying because she finally realized how much of herself she had lost trying to keep someone who had never been afraid to lose her. And somewhere inside her heart, she made a decision. She would never go back. She didn't know it yet, but life was about to introduce her to a man who would show her exactly what she had been missing. And that man was waiting for her in the most unexpected place.